Ryback Show starts now. Welcome to the Ryback Show live. I am the big guy Ryback. Thank you for joining me, everyone. Streaming live on Instagram and TikTok, the big guy Ryback 22. We got the TikTok right back up and running really quickly yesterday. And I'll talk about that. There were some issues with some posts that were not issues that were all resolved. And luckily, I've got enough contacts over there and people helping me with whatever the weird stuff that does go on. And they got the account back up and running with everything. So really cool and grateful for that with everything. So welcome everybody on there. With that, streaming live, Ryback TV on YouTube, Ryback Rules on Twitch, and Ryback at Twitter. This podcast is brought to you by Feed Me More Nutrition, my premium supplement line, sweetened with stevia and monk fruit, no harmful artificial sweeteners or colors, vegan friendly for men and women on feedmemore.com. You can save 20% with discount code RybackShow20. That's RybackShow20 to save 20% on the best supplements on the planet over at feedmemore.com. We have a BMR calculator to track your calories over there for free. We've got my Feed Me More Nutrition maximum size and strength workout program available as well. A lot of ways for you to save, signing up for our massive text and email savings program, where each week you get a massive discount and a message from me, written by me and sent to you guys via email and text message once a week. No spamming on that. So check that out if you want to save. You get 25% off your orders right away just signing up for those, along with the discounts every week that we send with an over 80% returning customer rate. Just simply my way of saying thank you guys for the love and support as we continue to grow all of this with everything. This show is also available on all podcast platforms, now available on Amazon, the Amazon Network and Amazon Prime. And so you can check out the Ryback Show there if you want to listen to it over there. Try to get on in as many places as humanly possible. So we just got that all up, and it should be up and running from what I understand now with everything there. But iTunes reviews, guys, are greatly appreciated. So if you have an iPhone, you can swing over to iTunes and leave a positive review. It is greatly appreciated by me. So into the questions, what we got going on today, guys: health, fitness, supplementation, mindset, life in general, pro wrestling. Your questions, me, answers. That's what we're striving for. The best answers possible. I don't always have the best answers, but I do my best to give you an answer based off of my experience and things going on that I've read and listened to, and because I listen to and read a lot of books and have a bunch of information. So the show and the ebb and flow of the show depends on where your questions go. All right, let's get into. Let me see here. Hello, good to see all of you guys. Am I watching Double or Nothing on Sunday? I don't know. We'll have to see. I'm hit or miss on, like, depends on the day of, like, shows. I'm like that with like UFC pay-per-views. You know, I've done it where, like, the last second on a UFC pay-per-view, like, if they don't have enough fights that I'm interested in seeing, like, I'll just like, I'm good, you know, because I know it's, yeah, but if it's whatever, and I know, oh, you know what, I'm taking it easy. Let's go ahead and get it. So we'll see on the day of the show what I have going on as far as it get nearer to the time of it. And because I'm actually supposed to go be doing something on Sunday too, and going out to this new vegan restaurant, Crossroads, that's supposed to be opening at some point. So Saturday or Sunday, I got to wait and see what day we're going to go out to there. But yeah, if not, I'll probably get it. I don't get all of their pay-per-views. I watched a little bit last night, and that was it. I just watch a match or two, and then I kind of check out, and because I've got my other stuff going on, and I don't. It's difficult for me to watch whole shows these days, and nothing. It just is what it is. And I never watched full shows, even when I was doing it. I'll just watch matches and get what I need to get for whatever I need. You know what I mean? So let's see. I would like to have more subscriptions on YouTube. That is for sure. I'm very grateful that we've been able to get to 400 and 1,000. in a relatively very short period, in a matter of just what has it been, 3? I don't know if it's been 4 years now, 3.5, and maybe 4, maybe close to, maybe approaching 4, very close to 4, maybe if I'm not mistaken. I thought we'd be a lot higher now, but once everything kind of got like this account is not normal for you guys that are wondering. Like this is the majority of the people on here don't get notifications, and YouTube is tied into that class action lawsuit. The that people suppressing people's accounts, they're 100% guilty of it, and I knew it. I knew when I saw the numbers drop in 2019, and what I've seen it happen, and it is what it is with everything. TikTok's the only one that's really not. But I will say Instagram, and because we had conversations with some people, and I pretty frank and just blunt, and I just said, have it your way. I go, I have meetings with some people here that are involved in this lawsuit that you guys already what's going on. And I go, so if things don't change, I go, I've already got all the analytics. We have everything we need. I go, so you do whatever you want to do. I go, the truth is going to come out at some point in time. And I go, I know I've not spoken one lie on any of this. I just know. And my account mysteriously started improving. And it's still not fantastic, but it has improved drastically from what it was. I've lost almost 200,000 subscribers since December when I got shadow banned, which I wasn't even supposed to get shadow banned. So that's just where, and then they kept it shadow banned for 6 months. Just imagine that, having a business and not being seen for 6 months on a major platform. It's pretty frustrating, right? And I've remained pretty positive and optimistic, but don't get me wrong. Like it makes me very angry when I really just sit back and think about it, and the people, and how and when you work really hard and you push, and on top of everything else, right? Nobody's going to feel sorry for you or anything, but it just makes you like, man, I wish we can go back to the olden days, just let's settle some stuff out in the woods. uh, Super chat. William Schaefer, good to see you, buddy. Ryback, Ray Liotta just passed away. What was your favorite movie of his? Keep it up, big guy. I couldn't tell you one movie he was even in. I'm not even aware, and I'm not, and I don't mean this. And I'm not like, I don't know who that is, and I apologize, and I'm sorry that he passed away, but I'm not like, I don't know who that is. Name some movies he was in. Maybe I'll recognize uh, something if I see it, but off the top of my head, I don't know. Very unfortunate, though, anytime anyone passes away, as far as for their family and friends. Jake says, Ryback, for maximum results, do you recommend a push pull, leg split, or working specific muscle groups like back and biceps, try shoulders, chest, etc.? Everything works and nothing works, Jake. So it's just simply a matter of what you're going to go do consistently. That there's no right or wrong with any of this. It's just going in and just lifting. And that's all that you do. And you pick a program, and you can adjust things every 3, 4, 5 months. There's no magic formula. There's no secret workout, like, other than going in there and doing the work. Now there's different rep schemes, and I talk about that with my workout program, and I have different workout splits in there, and then but strongly encourage people to take those and make them their own for people on what your goals are and what you're trying to achieve. It depends. If you're only able to get into the gym 3 days a week, you got to pair up some muscle groups, right? Otherwise, you can't train one muscle group a day. Like, you won't be able to get everything in every day with that. So if you're trying to train every muscle group once a week with that, and it's just, there's some people that like to train muscle groups twice a week. But if you do that, then you don't need to be doing as many sets per workout. And it just all depends. There's no real right and wrong way. It's just going in there, trying it for 3 months, try a push pull split routine if that's what you want to do, and then go try something else and see what you like more. That's how you get your own feedback on things, and it's just going consistently, and that's all that it is with that. I'm like, I've always just done with me, though, like, typically one muscle group a week and one major body muscle group per workout outside of um, today or tomorrow. Tomorrow will probably be so tomorrow will probably be shoulders. Today's back, but tomorrow for shoulders, I'll do shoulders and traps, and I do a lot of sets for my traps as well with that. So it's a little bit of a longer workout. And I also do my abs because I do my abs really hard once a week as well. Sometimes, and I would do it oftentimes twice. And I started doing everything on one, where I do a really hard like P90X ab ripper X, and then I do my 4 to 6 reps on heavy weights for my abs as well. And I'll intertwine those. Sometimes do one first and then the other after, that first and then the other after with that. But I'm constantly just changing things and trying little things. And in based, I used to train traps twice a week forever, and I go, I'm just going to do them once a week in a lot of sets and see how I like that. And it kind of is a break from doing something twice a week. Um, and then I look, I go, okay, do I notice any real difference in this? Do I see, is it affected me positively, negatively? Do my traps look a little bigger? Do they look a little smaller? Am I better off splitting that up to twice a week? Right. And that's just kind of the approach. You just got to get in there and just kind of, the key is just getting in there and trying multiple things and then doing what you feel is best for you. This is it. Lilac says Ryback in your childhood, like 17 to 20. Um, were you getting started to grow abs and muscles? Did your family help you when you were growing abs in any way? Lilac, I'm not going to lie, that's a very odd question. Um, no, I just I just worked out and I ate a lot of food until I started learning about nutrition, and I kind of literally just learned everything on my own. I didn't ask. I've never been like really big. The dog's barking, probably somebody at the door. The dog. I've always kind of enjoyed the process of figuring things out and and asking for advice here and there from the right people. But I always just kind of enjoyed the process of figuring things out. But yeah, I don't know how my family would help me grow abs. That comes down to diet and weight training and losing body fat. Good to see you. We're going to throw a shell shock just to clean. I could see that guy's going to be a problem at some point. I have to increase my iron intake. Any suggestions besides spinach? Yeah, that spinach is great. There's what other foods? I'm trying to. I literally forget so many things based off of. I'd have to go look, but I would just honestly suggest too. Obviously, you can Google foods to eat that contain iron, and you just have a more balanced diet. I want to say I don't know why I keep thinking kale, but I think kale is more calcium. I don't know why I keep thinking kale. The and it might have some, but it's nowhere near spinach. The whole food iron supplements are really, really good to take, and they make it really easy to. And you just Google or Amazon whole food iron supplement, and I think that's very beneficial to take uh, in once a day as well with that. And it's just having a diverse diet, and there's different nuts and seeds, different things that have decent iron in them. And when your diet is balanced out with that, it you hit your numbers and you feel great with that. It's when you are not doing that and you have a very narrow eating a very narrow spectrum as far as in the foods we have available. Your spectrum of foods is very narrow, is what I was trying to say. You will have a more difficult time getting the things, the nutrients and vitamins and minerals that you need. You're welcome, Jake, buddy. Thank you. Good to see you, buddy. Question says I was on James Ellsworth stream, and he said any man with two fists has a fighting chance. What are your thoughts on this? Absolutely. I don't think he's not speaking any lies. Any man with two fists does have a chance. Now, what? How? That's why they have odds makers and different people that they determine what those chances are, and so that people typically have a decent idea. And not to say that they're always right, but that you have a decent idea of what those chances are for that man with two fists. But there's always a chance. Always a chance. Any memories come to mind from touring Canada? No, I remember. I just remember being some of the coldest weather I've ever been in has been in Canada. That is for sure. I don't that, and I think I remember RVD on Raw kicked me. He did that second rope or top rope spinning the spinning heel kick. That got me really good, and I think that's where I screamed the F word out on Raw. I think it made it on, or I don't know if they edited it out. I'm sure they had to have. But that was the closest I've ever come to getting rocked ever. And even that, I know, I remember WWE didn't want me to drive. I was completely fine. I didn't have a concussion or anything, but it definitely, I mean, I got straight up just kicked in the face hard. And, but didn't even, I just remember like it made me really angry and not angry like at Rob. I love Rob with that, but angry that it like rocked me for a second. And I say rocked in the sense of like just like I felt it. But thank God that's you do that neck machine every week. Neck machine is like shock absorbers for your any blow that you take to the head. Legit. And I credit that to why I haven't had any concussions in my career. You're very welcome, George. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate the positive feedback for the Ryback show. What type of foods are good for weight loss? You want to go to feedmemore.com and check out our BMR calorie calculator with that. And a lot of it's consuming your calories and keeping your calories at a consistent number each and every day with that and being active and consuming plant-based foods in everything in moderation in a balanced diet in looking at things from a micronutrient standpoint as well as tracking your macronutrients like carbohydrates, fats, protein consistently. And the least processed foods that we eat, the better that we are. I'm growing now in my backyard vegetables. I'm growing red bell peppers, jalapenos, beets, and radishes. This is my learning. This is literally my learning phase, and I got one. It's big, but it's not as big as it needs to be. I'm gonna grow. It'll grow quite a bit of this, but like I'm gonna need to get a lot of more space to grow more vegetables. But this is me kind of learning and seeing how it turns out, and I'm like watching little tutorials on different things and I'm like making my little notes in my phone on the time frame, like bell peppers I think are like they take 7 to 9 months, 7 to 9 weeks, sorry, until before they're ready. And that way, obviously, like and then like there's little notes like they'll say like when the leaves are 4 inches long, you'll know that's when they're ready to be pulled out and different things. And like radishes are really quick, 3 to 5 weeks, if I'm not mistaken, off the top of my head. Where something like beets is closer to 3 months, 2.5, 3 months. Jalapenos, I think, are somewhere around that range as well, or maybe not as long as that. Maybe in between the bell peppers and the beets, but and then getting the foods that I eat and getting good at growing those. But it's always better to eat foods that are the least processed as possible, rather than going and buying, cereals and uh, uh, boxes of like macaroni and cheese. And you know what I mean? And eating out fast food all the time and all this stuff. Not to say that we're not going to do that because this is the day that we live in, the day and age. And unfortunately, those things are so readily available. But I think we also have to like make decisions like there's whole foods. Once you become aware that where healthy food is at, it makes it a lot and more. And once you realize it could be really good too, and how good you feel, like rather than going to McDonald's and grabbing your lunch, there's maybe a Whole Foods store right there, or a supermarket that has a salad bar in there that you can go get. Maybe you can get a sandwich and a salad, right? That would be quite a bit better for you, or a salad with some protein, different assortments on it, right? And you're going to be consuming a lot more micronutrients with that. And you get a coffee with your lunch rather than getting that Big Mac, or that Big Mac and chicken McChicken sandwich and a large fry and a large Mr. Pibb, or a large Dr. Pepper, a large Coke, or Diet Coke, whatever the hell you want to. But you got to become aware of what your options are, and that's how you make consistent changes. But it's the choices you make that you don't think are a big deal in that time and moment. You're like, well, what difference does it make? What difference does it make? Right? What difference does it make? It's one of my favorite phrases by my friend Joey. His dad is the old man on TikTok. He's becoming TikTok famous. What difference does it make? It's what he always says, because he likes to smoke. I'll tell you what difference it makes. Each little small choice that we make daily makes a drastic difference in the long term. And it makes a huge difference in how we feel day to day. But you got to do that consistently. You can't be eating the McDonald's 6 days a week and get the salad one and think, well, I had the salad that day and I didn't notice all the changes from all my bad decisions for the years prior. So I'm just going to go back to making bad decisions, right? You got to make those good decisions almost all the time. And then occasionally you make a bad decision. And then you go back and doing good decisions, right? And that's the difference between winners and losers in general. And that, just point blank, that's the difference. I'm not into mobile gaming. Oh, he was in Goodfellas, Ray Liotta. I've never seen Goodfellas, believe it or not. Never saw Goodfellas. Maybe I should. I don't know. I don't. Let's see what other questions here. Roman versus The Rock next year. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. Yeah, Nemesis said, I tried a practice match and blew up in 3 minutes. Pro wrestling is no joke. And that's nothing. Imagine having to go wrestle and do 15, 20, 25, 30, 35 plus, and in front of thousands of people watching you live. Is all your peers in the back, everybody, all the big wigs, everybody in the back, and millions of people watching across the globe. Imagine then when your adrenaline kicks in and everything, and you have to be in such good condition that you can go out there and do that and not look like you can die at any point. That is pro wrestling. And that is why, like, when I see the people that you suck, they couldn't even do 30 seconds. They would be I've really made myself cough there. Oh, I'm one of them. They would be literally gasping for air as I am. I broke a record on my Stairmaster, by the way, yesterday, so I'm not too concerned. The No, but that's like they don't have any clue on the conditioning aspect of things, on how much it takes to do all that and to go out there and execute and do character stuff, and literally it's one of the most difficult jobs in the world that people don't realize how difficult it is. And it's easy once it takes a lot of work and sacrifice to make it look easy. But I tell you, and you got blown in 3. Imagine the energy you'll need to do 5 minutes. It's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take a lot of work to be able to do a 10-minute match, right? 10-minute practice match. It's going to take even more to do 15, to do 20. You know how much work it's going to take and how much months and years of sacrifice on all ends, right? And that's just one aspect. That's just the conditioning aspect. It's one of the most important aspects to success, if not the most important. But that's why I say, like, the people don't realize that watch that critique, and they think and that's in all sports, the amount of work and effort that takes place, and it's incredible to rise to the ranks in any profession with that, which the majority of fans, and there are those that do have a respect for it and understanding, and like you'll now have a better understanding and respect for it, where you'll be more, you'll be less likely to spout off because you've at least done it to that degree. Not to say that you still want it, right? Not to say, because you never know what someone will say online, but you've actually felt what it feels like, and that's where I say a lot of people have no clue. Like, and that's it's oftentimes the people that are capable of the absolute least. Like they're just so out of shape, and they don't even know they're out of shape. They just say, "Well, I could do that if I wanted." No, no, you couldn't. You couldn't. You couldn't. And it's so yeah. I'm glad you got in there. How do you get weight training in with all the conditioning in wrestling? You just simply have a program, and you do your weight training, and you set aside your schedule, you schedule your day out, and you make sure that you're consistent with the things that you do every day, and then you have your wrestling training. Say if wrestling training was from 4 to 6 at night, or 4 to 7, or 4 to 8, depending on how long it is, right? Maybe you gotta whatever you work, you get up early, you wake up 4 or 5 a.m. and go to work until you know 1 in the afternoon. Maybe from work, you go to work, you have time to get maybe a 60 to 90 minute workout in, and you got to hurry, run home, grab your stuff, get your food, and go straight to wrestling. Whatever it is, you just map out your day. Maybe it's getting up even earlier, working out first, then going to work, taking a nap when you get home, and then going to the wrestling training. Whatever it is, you just got to map it out and schedule it out, and then you execute that daily. And you just make sure you set aside time to do your weight training with that. If you're doing wrestling training too, oftentimes if you're wrestling training and you're doing conditioning drills, you don't have to do a lot of extra conditioning on your own. You can do a little, but you have to do it nearly as much, right? That if you're not wrestling. We ship worldwide on feedmemore.com on that. We're low Feed Me More Nutrition. Yeah, Kevin says my wife and I don't eat perfect. Most people would say nobody clearly eats perfect, and I shouldn't say nobody, but what's the definition of perfect eating? Is it not eating any processed foods? But yeah, most people don't. But we have started being a lot more aware of what we buy and eat, which makes a big difference, and that's how you do it. And then when you start getting that feedback, because people are selfish, right? We're all selfish. We need to see something like what's in it for us, what's in it for me if I eat better, and then it's like, oh, well, we have this stuff called energy. You're going to have a lot more of. Your mood is going to be improved. But when you just tell people that, it's a really hard sell sometimes. We're like, well, food tastes really good. And their sole decision on eating is just by the taste and eating the worst things possible. You go, look, you can still eat really good. And you're actually, that food will taste better to you the more that you eat it, but you're gonna if you have more energy, and you're gonna feel better, and it's gonna allow you to, like, you're gonna just feel better and be able to do more things. And but you got to people need to just start doing it, and to get that little bit of, you go, oh wait, I do feel better, like maybe I should do it a little more, and that's kind of how it works. Hello, hello. I'm looking over the questions here. Super chats are pulled up on the screen. Otherwise, I will search for the questions. Another person wanted to know my height. I'm 6'2". My wrestling build height is 6'3". Justin says your show is awesome, man. I love how you constantly give back to the fans and are very humble about it. Thank you very much, buddy. I it's it's cool to just be able to do this sort of thing, and have my business, and life is very good. It depends. Like I tell people, you could believe all the lies and the BS out there. You can just follow and kind of get an idea, and get an idea of like in my mindset, my sarcasm, where certain people they completely don't acknowledge any sense of sarcasm on things. So they'll say take things that I say that are sarcastic and make them as real, and it is what it is of that. But I know yesterday I went to the gym yesterday, and it was actually nice. A group of high school kids came over and got pictures with me, and they were very very kind. It's cool because they grew up watching me, and to like I told you guys, I meet pretty much nothing but nice people in the real world with things, and any of the hate or negativity is just online, mainly Twitter with a lot of that, and not to say that some of it can't be on the other platforms, but mostly Twitter with that, and it's not real with that, and even if it is real, it's blocked, and just keep doing what I'm doing, and focusing on my goals and health and everything like that. But I always appreciate all the good fans and the love and support. Yeah, we're kind of just waiting everything with the wrestling. Um, waiting to finish this Ryback trademark stuff going on with WWE with that, and it's the trial portion is about to begin if they don't come back with a settlement offer. Uh, and it's at this point they've delayed so many times that I told them, I just literally said screw it, we're going forward. I'm just going to win the trademark and I'm going to keep speaking, because they had reached out, they wanted me to sign an NDA 5 months ago, and they wanted the past rights to the name, and because I'm winning the trademark, but there were some real issues with the settlement, and it was we had to make some changes to it, and they have dragged their feet for 5 months, and they do not want me speaking about the company. They don't want me telling the truth about things, and that is why they've silenced. This is so personal. Everything they've done, and like I told you guys, I've been very open about everything, and in the lies that they told me, and trusting them at various points. And so I'm going to finish it one way or another. I'm going to win the trademark regardless, and I'll make them spend a lot of money in the process because their attorneys are very expensive, and I'm going to continue to speak the truth until they decide that they're going to come around to what the offer is. I think I missed a super chat. William, thank you, William Schaefer again. I'm going to Vegas. Did you ever eat at the buffets on the strip? If so, which is your favorite? Well, there's only 8 or 9 buffets left on the strip, if I'm not mistaken. Um, and I'm next to there's one not far from me, Aliante Hotel, but I'm not on the strip. I'm way up north mountains. Uh, the Texas Casino, that's closed now. They used to have a really good buffet. I remember that's off the strip also. The Rio, the Carnival World buffet was always known to be one of the better ones. That's shut down. I'm going to tell you the one that you will get it's more expensive, but it is by far it's always ranked one of the best ones that I believe is the Wynn buffet. The buffet at the Wynn. And I don't know if you can go lunch is always cheaper than dinner, but that buffet is like if you're going there to just feast, and I think you can get comps, like if you might be play some games, they may give you a couple comps. There's ways if you Google it, there's ways to get them with that buffet though will give you the most bang for your buck. But there's only 8 or 9 left on the strip, and there's definitely ones that are much lower priced ones. So it's all dependent on your budget and the quality of food, because the least expensive a buffet is they're not giving you high quality food, right? Even though it can be really good. I've gone to cheap buffets over the years and I've had a blast, but it just all depends on what you're looking for, and things like that. I'm trying to think if there was another one. Buffet outside of the Win that's more affordable that always got good reviews, and but so many of them closed down because of the whole deal last couple of years. So I'm gonna go with the win because I think it is you'll be happy with that. But if it's out of your budget, it's I'll have to look and see if I could what other buffets because I'll see on the names that are left. Like you might even Google like what but if you Google like while during this broadcast what buffets are still open in Vegas on the strip, I may be able to give you out of those listed which ones I would go to. There's also though like places it depends on what your diet is. Like Texas Day Brazil is like a Brazilian steakhouse on the South Las Vegas Boulevard. I obviously don't eat meat anymore, but that was always one of my favorite places to go, and very good for the price. And there's another Brazilian steakhouse that got rave reviews. That's new. I think it. I don't know where it was at. I can't remember. I'm trying to think off because I just saw there's a girl on TikTok that always posts all the Vegas stuff. I wish I had her name. It might be Vegas Starfish on TikTok, and she does reviews of everything, man. I highly recommend following her. She has some really good content on all Vegas stuff, like on spas, on all the things that I never knew like existed here. She knows like everything, and like casinos. I think they like welcome her to like go do little videos and reviews on there. She's done pretty well for herself. It looks like as far as the niche she's carved out on social media of just reviewing Vegas places. I do remember that time when I said, "Hey, Kane, you forgot you're nuts, stupid." I do remember that. That was in Indianapolis. Why do you block people? I block people for a multitude of reasons. I believe that it's always good to protect our environment and people that disrespect you. Oftentimes, people don't know uh, how to communicate with that. And I'm very big in protecting my energy and my environment, Rybackville, if you will. In real life, if somebody were to disrespect us or say something really offensive, which majority of time wouldn't happen, but if there was, there's always that. There's the it could there's the we have the choice of how we're going to react to that, right? With that, and I look at social media with blocking people. It's a way to just essentially just punch them and block them out, and stop them from spreading a negative, hateful mindset more often than not. And that's not to say that everyone I've ever blocked with that, but it's like a lot of times two people are looking to be argued with, or if I put out my opinion on something, I'm not looking to debate. And if I am looking to debate, I would debate with that. But if I'm putting out my opinion on something on what I believe in is factual with that, and then Joe Schmo wants to start discussing it. More often than not, though, it's not that they can't even form an intelligent sentence to communicate with that. But I'm not looking to waste any time going back and forth. That gets me nothing. And I've realized that a long time ago, where so many people just look to distract themselves and argue back and forth. Nothing gets achieved. Nothing. I just live in the real world as much as possible. Possible. I push up my content, live in the real world, and I'm such a big believer in that, which is why I like doing this. So because it's interactive, at least, and it allows me to help people. It helps promote my brand and everything that I'm doing. Right on top of ad revenue with all that good stuff with that. Um, but it's like as far as like people that just leave like hateful comments or negative comments, it's just simply a way you're not saying like my interpretation of the block button is it doesn't mean I hate you. It just means I don't want to have anything to do with you and I don't want you to have anything to do with me. If I bother you that much where you can't control typing something ridiculous more often than not, I'm going to help you focus a little better, even though I already know they're just simply going to shift their hate to somebody else. That's what, if you ever look at the majority, and this is oftentimes, if you look at wrestling, quote unquote, fans that hate on people, go look at their page. It's oftentimes them just going from thing to thing. They'll oftentimes just be going from politics to entertainment to wrestling to NFL to MLB. Like they're just hating on everything, and you just go, "Oh, that person's just miserable." Block and like they're not that So it's that's why mindset's so important with things, and and it's like oftentimes like people you could have a different opinion than somebody and not have to attack them, or like a lot of times people will try to word things in a really condescending way, in a hateful way, to like, and they it's just like, it, whatever you said triggered them so badly they couldn't just go about their day and not like, they had to put something and try to make it personal, right? And that's where you just block that mindset. And it social media has made that very easy for people to act like that. And it is one, but it's just not a winning mindset. And there's nothing good that will come. You know, if I did that, spent all my time arguing with people online, I would not get anything done in my life. And I would be just like them. I would have nothing. Right. So it's like, and they don't realize that that's why they have nothing, is because they spend all their time distracted over the things, you know. One of the greatest ways to make changes in this world is to get really rich, by the way. Get rich and work really hard and get really rich. That's how you can implement change. You know how, what makes it really hard to implement change? Arguing with people all online all day. Not, you're not fulfilling your destiny. You're not, you know, I always say, and got that from Grant Cardone, success is our duty and obligation. That if we want to make a real positive impact in this world and make positive changes, work hard and get good at whatever it is we do, help people along the way as much as we can with that, and then we implement a positive change with that. And because everything takes money. Money is oxygen. Money is oxygen with that. And you can't have money when you're arguing all day with people. Whoa, hold on. This is huge news coming in from Bryant R. Big guy Joe Gatto from Impractical Jokers is leaving the show. You should take his place. So 100%. What I always say to myself, I know I could do this. And I know Q and Sal from they come to the wrestling shows. There was one of the Raws in Brooklyn. I think I didn't know they were in the show, and I legit popped when I saw them. I go, guys, and I went over and said hello during the show when I was outside the ring. I would 100% take the place of Joe Gatto. I would that would be right down my alley. I would have the time, even if it was just for one season, and it was a trial season. I would 100% do it. I should. That's I would I would I would have a really good time with that. I love that like, that show puts me in a good mood. Like I said, I don't watch a lot of TV, but if I'm going to put it on, I'll put that on for 30 minutes and I'm instantly just like laughing, and it's an episode I've seen 100 times. So I'll tell you though, that's sad that if Joe is leaving, because man, those four guys together is magic. But that show's been on now for a long time. When you think of it, it kind of a long time for what year did it start? 2012, 13? Did it almost 10 years, maybe 8, 9, 10 years? So not a bad run at all. Yeah, I saw that Tommy and Bubba and them Velvet all had surprise appearances, but I'm talking be on the show. Be the new Joe Gatto, where you got to do the things, because I love stuff that tests you mentally, because there's always different situations where like different interactions, and like where you're not as like confident in the moment. Like, if you watch, why I love watching that show, everyone has their moments where like they're indestructible. Well, they'll do anything. And then there's other moments where for whatever reason that day you're just not on your game, and there's that person, an energy of somebody where you're a little hesitant to say what they said. And I love it. That show, to me, those guys are so talented on the courage that stuff takes. Why is Joe leaving? 2011, so 11 years, man. What a run. And I would like to know why Joe's leaving. Bill says he deleted all social media a year ago, never been happier. I believe it. And I've talked to different people that have done that, and they all say the same thing. And I think that's why I say living and having a brand and a business. So I love social media, and that's why I've done so much self development on where I don't let things impact me. And that's why if you ever see anything where you get hate for a couple days, I'm like indestructible, like on that now. Like nothing could phase me and just live my life with that. And it's like but it took years of practice and dealing with a lot of hate and lies and different things at different times, and to where like just to where an understanding and growing my business and to now having a really, really good understanding of everything. And, but, you know, I, like I said, I take my time away from it throughout the day as much as possible and just do things and stay off the phone as much as you can for different periods. And it's, you are happier. I try to never get caught up in too much outside. Like I'll leave comments on TikTok every once in a while, and it's usually something that pops right up on my phone. That it's not me searching; it'll just pop right up on my the For Your page, and I can leave a comment because I know though because I'm trying to be seen to help grow my account and with things like that. But I never get distracted, and you'll never see me like arguing or anything. I can't because it's taken away, and that's what people got to realize. And unfortunately, like a lot of kids and stuff are getting caught up in that. They don't know. You hand a kid a phone, man, and they see the parents on it all the time. And, that's what like I'll go to the games or walk down, like if I'm driving by or walking the dogs and you see the park and they'll have like a soccer game going on. Man, like all the parents are just on their phones. They're not even watching. Not to say that I'm sure there are some that are, but the majority of them you just see, and I'm like, man, I don't know. And I get it, like, and it's one thing if it's a practice, but like during a game and your kids out there playing, you'd think like you'd be into it and watching. And not to say there somebody could have just been on their phone for 30 seconds, right? And then back to watching the game. But it just seems like so many people are caught up too much. And we got the real world right here, and there's so much amazing stuff in the real world. Super chat, Italo Martins. Thank you, buddy. My big guy in WWE 2K is Universal Champ. Real dream. Thank you very much, buddy. Big guy's hungry in the video games and the real world. Technology is ruining our mindset. Uh, yes and no, not for everybody. It just all depends on the person. But I think and there's never just one thing. There's a lot of things that could be blamed. At the end of the day, it comes down to mindset and being self-aware, and it's up to us to understand the world's going to go in the direction the world's going in because people are profiting from that, and it is what it is. We always, at the end of the day, will have a certain level of control. We have to learn to control ourselves, though, and that's the key. And that's why I try to teach you guys and tell you. And it's something I practice every day. And I'm not perfect by any means, but just being self-aware and try to live in the real world as much as possible because there are a lot of benefits to social media, and it's just us learning how to control. I have look at the apps, and they have hot girls just jumping at you left and right. Right? I've been guilty of a hot girl pop up. Oh, I got to follow her. She's a hot girl with that, right? And it's like before you know it, you just have all just one after the other just popping up, and I literally go, okay, this is too much. This is too much. You have to unfollow some of these. This is, and I don't follow every time one pops up now. I'm like, I'm not gonna just keep. I don't, and but like that's just one little example. And depending on what you're viewing or what's popping up, if you interact with it on that, and it's just it could be overwhelming where they want to keep you on your phone as much as possible. But when you catch yourself and you go, okay, enough is enough. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. And you just live in the real world as much as possible. Joe Gatto is supposedly leaving to spend more time with his wife and kids. I wonder if he's going to Tom Brady this. 2 months in, he's like, I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. And they kick me off the show. I filmed 4 episodes and then they replaced me back. Joe's back. And then I'm just bitter and angry. No, I understand that Joe seems like he is quite the family man, and I can understand that. Yeah, I know Kendra Lust, Justin. She'll like certain posts. I'm friends with Phoenix. I don't know. I know Kendra. She's done my show. I don't know her as well as I know Phoenix, but she's awesome with that. Most of those girls are really, really, actually really good people. Like when you meet them in the real world, and they just they do what they did for a living, and it's honestly though not anything that anyone else isn't doing. So is it really that bad in the grand scheme of things? Now, granted, everyone has their like we don't know what their mindset. A lot of them are just more comfortable, and I think those people though now, like, it's much more accepted. They're much more, where before they were kind of like, I still don't think it's still fully accepted, but they're looked at more like they're more popular than a lot of people now, right? Like, I couldn't believe, I know that a lot of people say, "Oh, you look like Johnny Sins," even though, and Johnny Sins is older than me. Hold on. Let's but he has more followers than me on TikTok. And I couldn't believe it. I go, when I go, I want to see what this guy looks like. I go, geez, he's got quite a following. So that just, it's more socially accepted, I think, with what, and more people are doing that with all the girls on OnlyFans and making a living. There's a lot of girls on that making six figures, some seven every year, man. And it is what it is. If they're comfortable doing it, and it's no hate with that. And we all have our different limitations or things, And I think people that are on regular TV though and things, you are much more limited. Once you go that route, you can, you know what I mean, shut yourself out of a lot of opportunities. But if that's what if you're not driven to ever be in that, why not? You'll make way more money and you could be more famous than people that do go that route. So let's see. It appears Joe split from his wife and is focusing on trying to co-parent and being a dad. Oh, maybe that is the case. I don't know that's crazy though for Joe to leave. Which if they did split, that kind of explains all the jokes the other guys would have to make during the past seasons. Ryback, do you think after internet TV is not being used? We used to see Raw SmackDown at 5 p.m. 5 p.m. evening from 1995 to 2014. I don't understand the question. Tips for beginners who are going to start leg workout on growing calves. Badly pissed at my own legs. So again, calves are everything's genetics, and there's people that just have really tiny calves. I have very large calves. I always have had large calves, and they respond really well to weight training as well. But I always had big legs and big calves with that. Um, and there's people I've seen really overweight people that have shredded calves. I've legit seen it where their calves are like just like rip. I don't understand it. It's such a weird, like somewhere along their family line, they just had a family of men with calves, like from some sort of work they did, or like I don't know. Like it's crazy how there could be such differences with the human body on things. But training them, I have the Feed Me More maximum size and workout program that I have the different workout programs in there. But training calves, I think if you train them really hard once a week, that will give you an idea of if they respond with a good diet and weight training, and if you're growing other body parts but they're not, it's not. I'm just gonna tell you, it's one of those. I don't think it's gonna matter if you train them twice a week, and oftentimes people, there's not a difference between training anything sometimes once or twice a week, and if it is, it's so minute. And if it's just, you just train them still, and you try to be as strong as possible, but you either have them or you don't. And it's really, really, you just try to make them as good as possible. But like at the end of the day, I wouldn't like really, you know, beat yourself up too much over something you have no control over. Outside of just work hard on them, and wherever they end up, they end up. You got wackos out there like injecting themselves in like different, like, don't go that route. You don't need to do that. Yeah, Grim's toy show. Grim just messaged me. Grim's going to be in Vegas here. Grim wants to go do a food video with me on Monday. So I'm going to link up with Grim. We're going to go eat vegan food on Monday. And that'll be a fun episode of Feeding Time. That'll probably be up Tuesday or Wednesday. Hey, Jose. Yeah, thank you. A lot of people say you're a legend, including me, and that's 110% true. Had you not left WWE, I honestly believe you would have been WWE champion and held it until Raw's 2000th episode. Thank you. No, and I'm sure I would have, but I also would not have. I that all would have depended. Like I've said, if I would have signed that last contract, I think that is a very true statement. Um, Even with everything going on. But I was not going to sign over the trademarks, and I needed a 5 disc fusion and shoulder replacement. That had I not left, I would have been done. So at the end of the day, that's the truth. So like everybody could say, and I'm in better health now than I ever was wrestling, and I'm still like my prime years are ahead. Like I'm telling you, I feel so great and amazing, and I'm so blessed. I don't look at this as like I'm not one of those guys that like I don't need to be in the business or have like be on TV for 20 years to feel like satisfied. If I just had come back and have one hot year, I'd be more than satisfied with my life because I don't care about like the championships as far as like because it's physical acting and it's cool to play different roles. I'm looking at stuff from roles like that, and you know it's always good whenever you do something. You obviously want the highest prize and whatnot on that. But you got to remember, like I played the top baby face for a good portion of my run to begin with. On that, I know the reaction I was getting. I know the merch I was selling. Everything that happened was out of my control, and it all. And it's I'm not like I'm so content and like I'm not. And but like I said, I work really hard and I'm very hungry for different things, and I have my goals and whatnot. And that there was a lot of stuff that has happened that I need to use for positive fuel, and I have with everything. But you know, I don't like it's. We'll have to see. I don't. It's not over by a long shot. Like I think it's just getting ready to begin, quite frankly. But I got to get the legal stuff over, and you know. But at the end of the day, people and me walking out and leaving, I saved my career and my health and life, and that nothing else matters outside of that. And anyone you could say anything, and people can speculate and say and make up things all day long. Is I needed a 5 disc fusion and shoulder replacement at 34 years old. Just process that. How would you have handled that? I think I've done pretty well, and I've made every right decision, and it all has paid off. So it's nobody could tell me any different on that. And you know, had I stayed there and signed that last contract and signed over all the stuff I own now, you know, would I have held that championship? Probably. Then I probably would have had to retire right after. And how satisfied, I'll tell you right now, I would not have been my life will not I could care less. I would rather have my health and everything I have right now than ever say that I was WWE champion. It means that little to me. Being the Intercontinental champion means nothing to me. And it's not like as far as life, like it mean I'd rather have my health and be happy and love and happiness, like to me. And I've always been aware of that. And I just love working hard and I love doing things. But and it doesn't matter anything with that. And I think that should apply to anything in life. Never letting a material possession like that to define and determine who you are. And that's where I think I have an advantage over a lot of people on that. And I recognize that where that won't allow me to make bad decisions. So what's my opinion on pineapple on pizza? I have no I've had pizza with pineapple and I've had pizza without pineapple. I don't really I've never understood nobody's right or wrong on that based off you're just whatever you like, you like. How is somebody that likes pineapple on pizza wrong? And how is somebody that doesn't like pineapple on pizza wrong? The problem they make is trying to argue with other people about pushing their beliefs on something is like pizza onto other people. That's where I look at if somebody's arguing about that, that's somebody I hit the block button on pretty quickly because their mindset is somebody that they just like to argue. And I go, oh, I don't want that around me. So All right, guys, we're gonna wrap up today's show. I got a busy day ahead of me here. It was good to hop on for a little bit with all of you. Check out my Feed Me More Nutrition over on feedmemore.com. Save 20% discount code Ryback Show 20 Ryback Show 20 over on feedmemore.com. And we'll probably be back on tomorrow. I don't know if we'll see what time we get on tomorrow. Try to keep doing these early because it allows me a little more flexibility in my day, and probably once on the weekend with my fasting, at least with everything as well. So until next time, my friends, stay hungry. Feed me more.